అందరికీ నమస్కారం అండి. నా పేరు సిద్ధార్థ్ వర్మ. ఈరోజు మనం జాగ్రఫీ బేసిక్స్ నుంచి మాట్లాడుకుందాం. అంటే అసలు జాగ్రఫీ అనే సబ్జెక్ట్ మనకి యూపీఎస్సీకి ఎలా పనికొస్తుంది? ఎందుకు అసలు జాగ్రఫీ చదవాలి? అది ఈరోజు జస్ట్ ఫ్రెష్‌గా ఇప్పుడే 7:00 నుంచి 10:30 వరకు అయిన జాగ్రఫీ బేసిక్స్ క్లాస్‌ని వినేసిన తర్వాత ఇది నా ఫస్ట్ ఇంప్రెషన్ అండి. అంటే ఎంతవరకు రిటైన్ అయ్యాను అని తెలుసుకోవడానికి నాకు నేను పెట్టుకున్న టెస్ట్ అనుకోండి, ఏదైనా అనుకోండి. అంటే మాట్లాడుతూ ఎవరికైనా చెప్తే ఇంకా బాగుంటుంది అని అకార్డింగ్ టు ద 5 మినిట్ టెక్నిక్ మనకు బాగా గుర్తుంటుంది అనే నమ్మకంతో ఇలాంటి సెషన్స్ మనం చేస్తున్నాం. అది మీకు కూడా ఉపయోగపడితే ఎంతగానో హ్యాపీగా ఉంటానండి. అయితే మనం స్టార్ట్ చేద్దామండి. వెరీ గుడ్. రైట్. ఫస్ట్ జాగ్రఫీ. అసలు సివిల్ సర్వెంట్స్ లైక్ అస్ ఎందుకు జాగ్రఫీ చదవాలి? సివిల్ సర్వెంట్స్ ఆస్పిరెంట్స్ లైక్ అస్ అసలు ఎందుకు జాగ్రఫీ చదవాలని మా సార్ చెప్పారు అంటే, geography is not an individual subject or an isolated subject. It has many interlinkages with various other subjects. For example, geography has a take on the history of an area and the food habits that the area has concluded, and the culture that the area is following, and the economy that the area has got, and the occupation that the area has got, and the employment opportunities that the area has got. That means it's simple, and we have let's take a state. Let's consider Jharkhand. It is an area where it is the house of minings and minerals. So we can see a limited amount of agricultural occupation that the people are going to farm few amount of crops. They only concentrated their area or their land area for digging mines and extracting minerals. So that's the impact of the geography that everyone has, or the every subject has. And for example, let's take an example that an area got concentrated, or an area got affected by an earthquake. So as civil servants we can directly react, as we all know what an earthquake causes and what is epicenter, what is focus, and everything. We know that we can easily react to that. So geography will keep us, or will lay a foundation stone on each and every subject that we need to know, and so that's why we have to study geography. And in the UPSC, geography is not a single discipline. As we all know, it was divided into physical geography, human geography, and economic geography. In physical geography we have geomorphology, oceanography, climatology, and geomorphology, oceanography, climatology. That's it. And in economic geography, we have migration and occupation. In human geography, we have human resources and something more. And apart from that, we have two other disciplines of geography. One is world geography, and the other one is Indian geography. How India is reacting to the environment, how Indian geography affects Indian people will be considered as Indian human geography, and how the Indian physiological structures are there, that is Indian geomorphology, and how India climate is there, that is climatology. And what about the oceans that are surrounded by India, that is oceanography. And that's the same thing will be applied to the human and economic geography, and same facets will be what we call will be transferred to the world geography. And that is the disciplines of geography that we will study in UPSC. And okay, now let's get into the structure, or get into the juice that we conducted this session for. First one, every geography class, or every geography session will date back to the roots of the universe. So that's why, same like everyone, I'm also digging deep dive into the formation or the origin of the universes. In the topic of original universes, first of all we have to, or we need to learn how the universe was formed. We just have how the universe is formed. Before going into it, we need to know about the roots of the geography. Geography is not a newly formed discipline or newly formed subject. It dates back to the caveman era, where they observe stars and they draw the diagrams of the stars and the diagrams of the how they have existed in the environment in their caves. So that is the first step of the geography. And the next stage of the geographical development has started in the Greece. Why all these eruptions or all these new innovations or new things used to takes place in Greece? And there are to answer this question, I have my point of view. That is, every country or every region or every civilization has thinkers, innovators, and logical thinkers and analysts. But Greek philosophers, Greek astronomers, and Greek scientists and Greek doctors were famous all around the world because they have publicized or they have structured the thoughts, and they have spread their thoughts all around the world. But country like us, with a lot of history, lots of ancient history, and lots of information about each and every aspect of our world and of our human body, like we do not publicize it and we do not take it into a form and we do not spread it all over India. So that's why the Greek philosophies got popularized and they were followed. If we go back to our Indian culture and heritage, we have many more astronomers, economists, and many more scientists and thinkers. But they all were burnt into ashes when Nalanda University was burnt. So let's concentrate on the Greece. Why the geography's innovation, or we can say what pioneered in Greece, because there are various other reasons. Let's take an example of let's take the conditions of the Greek. Let's take conditions of the Greek into our perspective. Greece has a clear sky, so they have very much scope to observe the clear to stars in the day and night region. So that's why that might be the cause of the geographical development in the Greece era. And they concentrated on the oceans. First of all, they were fascinated by the oceans and they thought that the end of the ocean is the end of the world. So, in order to crack it out, they started exploration and expeditions. They take off their ships and they started explorations, and they build maps and they bring records in return. Those records were developed into cartographical evidences which give a new form to the geography. So we have to give a slight credit to them. And they also initial Ptolemy and Idrisi, they are the people who pioneered in the cartography. They prepared the initial maps of the world. The regions or the land regions were surrounded by the circular form of the ocean, and that's the pioneer form of cartography. Now let's directly go to Hubble. Sir Edwin Hubble. He was a famous astronomer and geographist. He had a theory, that is, expanding universes theory, which states that each and every individual, each and every celestial body in our universe is expanding. It's not there in the ideal position that it was there in few seconds, a few minutes, few years before. It's just expanding. So that was the expanding universe theory, and the expanding universe theory was backwardly induced by other scientists or fellow scientists and developed a theory of singularity, where we all, as per the Edwin Hubble, universe is expanding. That is, the distance between celestial body is expanding. If we date back or if we go back in time, those expanding expanding celestial bodies were far nearer than the positions that they are in. So as we go back in time, the distance between the celestial body got decreased. It went back to 13.7 billion years ago, and they found that those all celestial bodies were concentrated in a singularity particle, which where they were concentrated or congested with infinite temperature and infinite pressure. Due to that infinite temperature and pressure, the singular atom was bursted out or exploded out, which causes the formation of all over the universe. And the explosive force is still dragging all the celestial bodies out, and it will last long, and the force is still continuing. That's why the celestial bodies in our universe is expanding from point A to point B. And if you ask me where does that singularity particle comes from, yes, there are various other research is happening about the singularity atom. Some may say that it is the theory of oscillating universe. Oscillating universe matlab ki we have as we now discussed about the singularity atom and the celestial bodies. After a quite long years, the celestial bodies were burst out and they got concentrated into a singular atom. Soon after, the expanding force got ended. The gravitational force overpowered the expanding force, and they got concentrated into a singular atom. And that singular atom will again leads to the Big Bang theory, and that's the Big Bang theory, which was devised from backward induction from expanding universe, stated by Edwin Hubble. So this is the theory, or a Big Bang theory, which explains us about the origin of our universe. Now let's go back to our planet Earth. Initially, geographers thought that Earth is the center of our solar system, and all the remaining celestial bodies, like stars and Earth and Moon, will revolve around our Earth. That is a geocentric system. But Greek scholars and Greek geographers use it to what we call use it to pray for sun god, and they devised a theory named as heliocentric model, where sun is in the center of our solar system and all of the other planets revolve around the sun. And that heliocentric model was far previously proposed by our beloved astronomer Aryabhatta. And that's the India for you guys. We are far better than many other thinkers, so we have to be proud for that. Now, the formation of planet. Planet is an accumulation of all the other planetesimals. Planetesimals are the tiny constituents of the planet, which got gathered and form a single largest massest celestial body, and it was divided into planet as the time goes away. We will learn more about our Earth and the formation of planet and formation of water in our planet and torrential rainfall in the coming sessions. So that's our Earth, and that's our Earth, and it is the third planet in our solar system. And Earth revolves around the sun like any other planet. It revolves around the sun, and it takes 364 and 364 days and 1 by quarter, 364 quarter days, and it takes approximately 24 hours to rotate around itself. Our Earth rotates around itself and revolves around the sun, and our Earth is in the form of geoid and oblate sphere. So the weight is not evenly distributed like any of the flat surface. Because of the unevenly distributed weight, it got tilted into 23 and a half degrees. It got 23 and a half degrees vertical tilt, and it is 66 and a half degrees horizontal tilt. Due to this tilt, we are experiencing the we are able to calculate the intensity of what we call, say, the summer, and intensity of winter, and summer solstice, winter solstice, and equinox. Just wait a second, please. we have a circle of illumination which divides the hemisphere which receives the sun, and hemisphere which doesn't receive the sun ray, or which hemisphere got daylight, and which which hemisphere does not got the daylight, and that circle of illumination. And we have a speed of rotation. Yes, our the speed the speed that an individual experienced while the sun is revolving around, sorry, while earth is revolving around the sun, and it's rotating around itself, among itself, from west to east. The speed that he experienced while the sun is rotating, when he was in equator, is more higher than the speed that he would experience when he was at the pole. As speed is directly proportional to distance, as we have a higher distance at the equator than compared to the distance at poles. And that's it, that's the speed of rotation. And the points, our earth revolves around the sun in an elliptical orbit, and elliptical orbit have eclipses. We have epihelon and perihelion. Epihelon is the farthest point from the sun, and perihelion is the is what you can say, the nearest point from the sun. And coming to the moon, when moon is far away from the earth, it is in the point of apogee. When the moon is very near to our earth, it is in the point named as perigee. Now let's discuss about summer solstice, winter solstice, equinox, two equinoxes. As we all know, Earth is experiencing 23.5 degrees vertical tilt and vertical tilt. From the month of March to September, northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. So, northern hemisphere will experience highest intensity of insolation. So, northern hemisphere will experience northern summer. Opposite to that, when northern hemisphere is heavily tilted towards the sun, the other part, the southern hemisphere is tilted far away from the sun. So, the southern hemisphere will experience winter during that time, and north pole will experience 6 months of sunlight, and south pole will experience 6 months of winter or night. While when it reaches 23rd of September, it shifts. It will be in the transition period. Northern hemisphere will get autumn during that time, and southern hemisphere will get spring during that time. And northern hemisphere will experience winter from September to March. Southern hemisphere will experience summer, and south pole will experience 6 months of sun daylight, and north pole will experience 6 months of night. And 23rd September is the point of equinoxes, where the tilt, irrespective of the tilt, each and northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere will be experiencing the same intensity of insolation. Similarly, at the equinoxes point on the other side, that is 21st of March. Yeah, that's it. Now, the summer solstice for the northern hemisphere, and the winter solstice for the southern hemisphere will be happening on the 21st of the June, and winter solstice for northern hemisphere and summer solstice for southern hemisphere will experience on the 22nd of December, and 23rd of September is an equinox day, and 21st of June is an equinox day. And Milankovitch cycle, which changes the axis tilt and causes the complete ice age, is due to the change in the tilt, and that is the Milankovitch cycle. That cycle will continue from ice ages to normal era, and normal era to the ice age. And this is the geography basics, where we have a glimpse about origin of universe, where we discussed about Hubble expanding universe theory, Big Bang theory, and we have explained about geocentric model and heliocentric model, and we explained about the cartography, and Greek pioneered in the cartography and solar system, about our earth, and rotation, revolution, axis tilt, uh, day and night, circle of illumination, etc. And that's the video guys. Thanks for waiting for these 20 long minutes for me.